Transcript of classified tape recording made at Camp David, Maryland, during a presidential briefing regarding the subject of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial visitation of Earth. President Ronald Reagan was present. The recording was made between March 6 and 8, 1981. William Casey. Mr. President, good morning. As we discussed in February, this briefing contains some very sensational and some very classified information. I am not sure. Oh well, I'm not going to make a decision on who you want in the room. That will be your decision, Mr. President. This will be a real tough one to follow since the briefing starts back, historically speaking that is, and runs up to recent times. I believe we have prepared a good chronological order of events. I'm sure you, Mr. President, will have many questions. The list of questions presented to me by Advisor number 2 should all be answered during this briefing. I hope they are, more than anyone, especially you, Mr. President, leave this briefing with questions still unanswered. I have asked the caretaker to conduct this briefing. He is a contract employee of the CIA and is the present custodian of the information. Are we to assume that everyone is present? President. Well, it will be entirely up to you, Bill. I guess everyone must be cleared for this briefing of information. Is that not correct? W.M. Casey. Well, it appears everyone is, but as you will see, Mr. President, this stuff is pretty high up on the food chain. We call it ATS, or above top secret. This stuff has its own classification and markings. We have a special container, special printers and copiers for this stuff. Every word of this material is printed on special paper, then placed inside special covers. The caretakers have taken special efforts to protect all of this stuff from being released inadvertently or copied by some unauthorized person. But all of this material is protected by a special group of people. The caretaker is in charge of protecting this information and all of the other stuff associated with this information. I would prefer that you, Mr. President, decide on who you want in this room. Remember, this material is a closely guarded secret. Although the gist of the story has been out there for many years, very little of the actual truth has ever been released to the public. Oh yes, well, by some of the renegades maybe, but many of them have been discredited. President. Okay, Bill, I guess we need Advisor number 1, you, Advisor 1-3, and Casper here. I think Advisor 1-2 and Michael can leave. Advisor 1-2, Mr. President, excuse me, but I would prefer to leave. I don't wish to know this information. You know, plausible denial or something like that. Michael Deaver, Mr. President, whatever you wish, I'll do. It would be an interesting subject, but do I really have a need to know? No, I don't think so. President, okay, I guess that is it. W.M. Casey. Thank you, Mr. President. I will now turn the briefing over to the caretaker. Advisor 1-3. Mr. President and Mr. Director, I already had this briefing. I can stay or leave. Secretary Weinberger and myself received this a few weeks ago. Secretary Weinberger. Mr. President, as you know, we have some pending business regarding that Soviet problem in Berlin. I think we might just handle that. Advisor number 3, and I will let you close this meeting to just a few. President. Okay, Casp. I guess you and Advisor number 3 can leave. Thanks for coming. WMKZ. Okay, Mr. President, that certainly narrows the audience. I think this is just right. President. Okay, well, I can't wait to hear this. Let's proceed. The caretaker. Good morning, Mr. President. First of all, I would like to give you a bit of information on my background. But before that, please, Mr. President, if you have questions during this briefing, just interrupt me, sir. I have been employed by the CIA for the past 31 years. I started the caretaking status of this project in 1960. We have a special group of people whom we call Group 6 that cares for all this information, President. Good morning, I hope. Well, I believe I will ask questions. Bill briefed me back in January, but I'm not sure. Huh. Well, was it detailed? No, I don't think so. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm sure Bill didn't tell me all because we only had about 1 hour. UM Casey. Mr. President, I only gave you a quick briefing for the NSDD, National Security Decision Directives, that we want to incorporate into the overall action directives about this subject. Advisor number 3. Casper and I have details far beyond what I knew before January. The last administration wasn't too keen on making all of this stuff accessible to us during the briefings in November and December, pre-Sident. Well, I knew a little about this subject before, back in 1970. Nixon had all of the good stuff and wanted to share it with some of his friends. Nixon showed me some papers. Not sure about who authored them, but well, something about New Mexico and other places. Nixon was pretty, fascinated with it. He showed me something, some kind of object or device that came from one of their craft, something that was taken from the New Mexico crash site. I don't know if, Do we know what it was? I don't think we knew, or maybe now, after 11 years, we might know. The caretaker. Mr. President, I can answer some of those questions. Do you wish for me to begin? President. Oh, well, what level is this? I mean, what was it called? I don't remember what they called this. WMKC. Mr. President, code word. It's called top secret code word. This information is beyond top secret, as I said before. It has its own classification. It is very compartmentalized. President. Well, I guess just the minimum. Are we recording this? The caretaker. Mr. President, no, unless you wish. W.M. Casey. Yes, it is. CIA female transcriber. Who is doing that? I think we should. I don't want to make any mistakes later about this. Advisor number 4 should also stay, since he is one of the caretakers of the information. President. Well, I don't want anyone leaking this stuff. Not knowing what we are about to discuss? Oh well, Bill, I guess it is your call. Advisor number 4 should stay. I guess he should... Oh, okay, well, you make the call, Bill. WMKC. Okay, I guess advisor number 4 will stay. But I think CIA female transcriber must stay. I'll make that call. President. Okay, I guess we can do our business first. Give me a few minutes. Let's get some food first, or snacks. How long will... Oh, about 1 hour? The caretaker. Mr. President, I estimate this will last about 1 hour, at least the first part of it. This is a very complicated subject to brief. I can do it, but maybe the questions will extend beyond the time period. President. Okay, I see. Let's take a break and then reconvene. Break. The caretaker. Okay, Mr. President, are we ready? President. Yes, we are. Let's go. The caretaker. Mr. President, as was mentioned earlier, I must say that this briefing has the highest classification within the U.S. government. I will start with a slide presentation. I have most of this briefing on the slides, but I also have an outline that I have passed out to each person in attendance. President. Oh, okay. So can we follow it with the outline paper? The caretaker. Yes, Mr. President. You can follow the briefing with the outline in front of you. President. Thank you. The caretaker. The United States of America has been visited by extraterrestrial visitors since 1947. We have proof of that. However, we also have some proof that Earth has been visited for many thousands of years by various races of extraterrestrial visitors. Mr. President, I'll just refer to those visits as ETs. In July 1947,
If you are enjoying this, why not watch the full hour and 20-minute version? In fact, there's over 150 other long documentaries you can watch. They are on my Patreon page. It's only a couple of pounds, and more content is added every week. Find out why Stonehenge is there. Find out who Yahweh really was. Learn that the crystal skulls are not fake. See Easter Island for what it really is. Understand the mark of the beast, and so much more, all with evidence. Head over to patreon.com, Our True History. There's also free documentaries there. Click on Collections, then Free. Watch an hour-long documentary on the Great Flood. Trust me, you won't find this kind of research anywhere else. Thanks for your support. Our true history.